Hello, Chelsea fans. Welcome back to the Blues Report, and remember to subscribe, then enjoy your news. Let's dive in. The first training of Garnacho at Chelsea. The morning sun rose gently above Cobham, its light cutting through the mist that lingered over the immaculate pitches. It was a special day at Chelsea Football Club, one that would be remembered by both supporters and players alike. Alejandro Garnacho, the young Argentine forward who had stunned the Premier League with his raw pace, daring dribbles, and fearless goals, was about to step onto the grass for his very first training session in blue. The club's summer had been dramatic, filled with transfers that reshaped the squad for the 2025/26 season. Garnacho was the marquee arrival, a statement that Chelsea intended not just to compete, but to dominate. Alongside him, the likes of Estevao, Liam Delap, Joao Pedro, and returning stars like Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, and Reece James made the squad look stronger and hungrier than ever. But for the fans, and for the media who had already gathered outside the training ground gates, this day was about one man: Garnacho. Arrival at Cobham. Garnacho arrived early, stepping out of his sleek black car with headphones around his neck. Cameras flashed as journalists tried to capture every movement. Wearing Chelsea's fresh new training kit, his initials a G17 stitched under the badge, he looked both nervous and excited. Inside the training complex, staff welcomed him warmly, guiding him through the facilities he would soon call home. The dressing room was buzzing when he walked in. Cole Palmer was the first to greet him, offering a handshake and a joke that lightened the mood. "So you've swapped red for blue, eh? Don't worry, we'll make you feel at home." Garnacho grinned, his competitive edge already evident in his reply. "I'm here to win, hermano." Enzo Fernandez, his compatriot and national teammate, walked over next. The bond between two Argentines was immediate. Enzo threw an arm around his shoulder and whispered in Spanish, "Welcome, brother. You'll love it here. Let's build something together." That sense of belonging mattered deeply. Chelsea was no longer just a club. It was a family assembling its pieces for a new era. First steps on the pitch. As the players laced up their boots, anticipation grew. Outside, the fans chanted Garnacho's name, their voices filtering through the training ground fences. When he finally stepped onto the pitch, there was a hush from his teammates, a silent recognition that a new star had entered their circle. The warm-up began lightly, with stretches, rondos, and passing drills. Garnacho quickly showcased his agility, darting into spaces, flicking the ball past markers, and laughing when Palmer or Estevao tried to dispossess him. Even in simple passing drills, his hunger was obvious. Every touch had intent. Every sprint looked like it came from a player desperate to prove himself. The coaches nodded approvingly. It wasn't just his technique. It was his attitude. Garnacho wasn't afraid to demand the ball, to take risks, or to challenge the established rhythm of the group. Intensity rises. As the session progressed, the drills grew sharper. Small-sided games were introduced, pitting Garnacho against seasoned Chelsea defenders. Benoit Badiashile and Axel Disasi tried to use their physicality to contain him, but the Argentine's acceleration and low center of gravity made him slippery. In one sequence, he darted between two markers, controlled a threaded pass from Enzo, and fired a curling shot past the goalkeeper into the top corner. The entire pitch erupted in applause. Joao Pedro jogged over and patted him on the back. "Welcome to Chelsea, hermano. You're going to give defenders nightmares," but Garnacho wasn't done. In another game, he combined beautifully with Palmer. A quick 1-2 near the edge of the box left the defenders stranded, and Garnacho delivered a delicate cross that Liam Delap smashed home. Already chemistry was forming, new connections that hinted at what Stamford Bridge might soon witness under the floodlights. The atmosphere. What stood out wasn't just Garnacho's ability, but the atmosphere within the group. Estevao, the Brazilian wonder kid, danced through defenders with flair, sometimes exchanging cheeky flicks with Garnacho. It was as if the young stars were challenging each other to raise the bar higher. Parma dictated play with maturity, often orchestrating moves that allowed Garnacho to drift into dangerous positions. Reece James, back from injury and leading by example, pulled Garnacho aside during a break. "Here, we fight for each other. You've got the talent, no doubt, but it's about discipline and consistency. If you give everything, the fans will adore you." Garnacho nodded firmly. He wasn't here for half measures, he wanted to leave a legacy. The test. Toward the end of training, the manager set up a full-pitch practice match. Blue versus yellow. Garnacho was placed on the left for the blue side, with Delap leading the line and Parma behind him. From the whistle, the pace was electric. Garnacho immediately tested Malo Gusto on the opposite team, sprinting down the wing, cutting inside, and drawing fouls. One particular moment silenced everyone for a heartbeat. Picking up the ball deep, Garnacho skipped past Caicedo, accelerated into space, nutmegged Disasi, and unleashed a thunderbolt shot that rattled the crossbar. Gasps filled the air. Even though it didn't go in, it was the kind of audacious play that reminded everyone why Chelsea had fought so hard to sign him. The match ended 2-2, with Garnacho providing an assist and nearly scoring twice. His teammates congratulated him warmly, but more importantly, they respected him. He wasn't just a new arrival, he was a weapon they could trust. After training, as the players cooled down, Garnacho lingered on the pitch, juggling the ball and exchanging passes with Estevao. A few fans who had waited hours outside the gates caught glimpses of him through the fences. He waved, a smile stretching across his face. Inside the dressing room, laughter filled the air. Music played, banter flowed, and Garnacho seemed to fit in seamlessly. He spoke in Spanish with Enzo and Caicedo, joked in English with Parma, and even tried some Portuguese words with Estevao. Integration was never going to be a problem. His personality was too infectious, his hunger too obvious. A new beginning. That first training session wasn't just about Garnacho. It was about Chelsea's new generation, a group of players blending youthful exuberance with established quality. The Argentine was the headline, but the entire squad looked sharper, more united, and more determined than ever. For Garnacho, however, it was a statement. He had come to London not just to be part of the story, but to write it. His first day at Cobham showed flashes of what could be. A fearless winger capable of transforming games, a player who embraced both the challenge and the responsibility of wearing Chelsea blue. The staff, the teammates, and even the fans could sense it. A star had arrived, and Chelsea's future had just become brighter. Conclusion. The first training of Garnacho at Chelsea was more than a routine session. It was the birth of a new chapter. His energy, skill, and ambition electrified Cobham, inspiring his teammates and thrilling those lucky enough to watch. The season ahead promised intensity, drama, and glory, and Garnacho was ready to be at the heart of it. For Chelsea supporters dreaming of trophies, for players pushing each other toward greatness, and for a young Argentine who had swapped red for blue, the message was clear. The journey had begun. And if the first training was anything to go by, it was going to be unforgettable.